Well, hello and welcome back to episode 2 of Retro Rewind.
We're back! Oh
Yeah,
my God!
baby.
I'm one of your hosts, William, aka Stadia Pro Gaming.
I am Jeff. I'm one of the other co-hosts.
I am Ray3473, the gaming cyborg.
And I am Blake. That's it.
Awesome.
Blake.
We have a couple of fabulous guests with us today. I'm going to go ahead and bring them on out. We have the lovely Ms. Tracey. And we also have the wonderful rocker, Lukey 6.
Woo! How's it going, everyone?
Pretty good. How are you doing today, Lukey?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Yeah, pretty
Awesome.
good. Pretty
Awesome.
good.
How are you doing, Miss Tracey?
I'm great.
Excellent. What have you guys been playing? Starting with you, Miss Tracey, lately, just recently. Doesn't have to be retro.
Recently, I just started Outriders. I'm enjoying the story for that so far. It's not bad. I'm afraid it's going to end up like Anthem, though, where you play the story and then there's nothing to do.
That can happen.
Yeah.
That can happen. How about you, Lukey?
I haven't been playing much, but a couple of games on my stream. I've been playing Strange Brigade. I'm doing a playthrough through that. I'm playing a couple of Switch games. My son's mad on Mario, so we're sort of playing through Mario games as usual. So it's all good, mixing it up.
Fantastic. Well, we got the first episode of Retro Rewind. We briefly touched on a whole bunch of subjects, and I'd like to go more into detail with a few of those. There was a few documentaries we mentioned. Ray mentioned High Score that's on Netflix. I'm going to go ahead and bring up a picture real quick for you all to see.
Such a good
show.
Yeah,
it is a good documentary. Starting with you, Ray. What are your thoughts about High Score on Netflix?
Man, just the rich history that you get from Atari to what's going on now with the multiplayer with the Xbox. I mean, just the story about Atari and all the wonderful guys that created all those games, just brought back. I mean, just wonderful memories, man. Just what wonderful memories.
Absolutely. How about you, Blake? Did you check that out? And what did you think?
Definitely. Yeah, no, I love the story of it, and going through it and how it showed you through the show of everything evolving. I look back and think, you know what? They did not know what they came across. This kind of gem, this Pandora's box that they've opened, and now because of look at where we are today and how far that's evolved since then. So for me, looking at the history, the birth of gaming, and completely being ahead of its time, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I remember back when I'd go and buy some magazines and I'd read stories because I had some bulletin boards and there was some real time chat, but a lot of it came from articles that were written. It wasn't covered in the newspaper. It wasn't covered. You had to go and buy some computer magazines, the old PC Computes or anything like that, and when they were talking about gaming. So I remember reading a bunch of a lot of that stuff back in the day. When I could have, couldn't always afford magazines every week, right? It's not like the content's out there now. So,
right.
I would sometimes just go to the library, or sometimes I'd just be in the store and just read, flip through them and read a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So the little bit that you were able to watch, Miss Tracey, what did you think of it?
Oh my God, I'm loving it so far. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit I get goosebumps sometimes. I'm like remembering like how amazing this stuff was, and they're talking about it like this was just their job. This is what they were doing, and to us, it's this whole like era that was started, and it's just amazing to see how it began. And it again with the memories, bringing up memories of like not being able to ever find a quarter in my house. And, wow. Good stuff. Good nostalgia. I love it.
Absolutely. It's dripping with nostalgia. I would suggest everybody check that documentary out. But Lukey, what did you think if you saw any of it?
First of all, it made me feel old. Going back and you realise
you feel old.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing going back and seeing what actually happened behind the scenes as such, because these games come out, I remember being involved in all that, but actually seeing what actually went behind the scenes we didn't know. Yeah, it's great. I watched it quite a while ago. I rewatched it, the series, but yeah, it's definitely a series to check out if you're into retro games. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I add
go ahead.
one more thing? Also, not only did it talk about video games, folks, but there's also a story about role-playing games and how role-playing was put into video games, which I thought was amazing. So
a guy even developed like a he was into tabletop gaming, and he ended up using a teletype machine to make his own role-play game.
Yes.
That blew my mind.
Exactly.
See, role-playing games for us is like that they are one in the same. You can't imagine not being able to play a game that's got role-playing in it. But back then, they were two separate things, and the idea of maybe trying to make something there's like, no, this ain't going to catch on. It's not like D&D. But
yeah. Well, my biggest takeaway from High Score is that it is full of a whole bunch of great trivia knowledge of the subject, but it's just dripping with nostalgia, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to bust out a Power Glove and start messing with it, man. I mean, it was just fantastic. And the thing that stuck out the most, I think, is what did they call them? I have a bad memory, but the game pros that you would either call on the phone or the people that worked in the malls.
Nintendo had the Nintendo Power. Something the tip line. I mean, I got in trouble, dude. I called for Metroid. I called for Metroid because I got lost, and I called, and I remember my dad looking over the bill, and he was like, "What the, you know what?" And I said, "My sister."
Yeah, phone calling was expensive back in the 70s and 80s. It's not like it's now. It's not, you can call anywhere. I could just pick up the phone and call Lukey, and it would cost like virtually nothing, or just do it over whatever. But back in the day, it was very expensive to make phone calls, and
and
there were no 1-800 numbers back then.
Correct, and there was no strategy guides being made for games, and there was no internet for you to look up other people that could have done it before you. So,
but this also shows. Sorry, go on, William.
But I was going to say, so it actually shows in High Score how these guys would have these giant binders, and they would have to memorize stuff, and they would have to actually pull them out when they would get a call and flip to the right page, and it was all done by hand. I mean, it wasn't a strategy guide or a directory you could just type into.
You had some guy with a mullet on the phone.
It's crazy, isn't it?
But it was crazy.
Well, you think about the time, like as Jeff was just saying, it was ludicrous to try and pick up the phone and call. But then, can you justify to your parents back then? Oh, I'm just calling up this company to help me learn about this video game. Which back then, video games were the idea of that was ludicrous as well. But it showed how much hunger there was for something like this in should I say the human race? I don't know, but there was a hunger for it because they were willing to spend that much money on a game that was virtual. But it showed that there was a huge market for it, massive.
Yeah. So I have a question for the guests. What is your first gaming experience, if you can remember it? Starting with you, Miss Tracey. Do you remember anything?
This is kind of embarrassing. All right. It was the NES. However, I was only allowed to play religious games at first.
Oh wow! Like Bible Adventure or
it was a spiritual warfare.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry to drop the F-bomb right off the bat, but there's no other word because that thing's messed up. Looking back at it now, I'm like, oh my god, that is.
I've never seen this.
My mother on her old computer, she used to have the screensaver.
Oh my!
Wow, that's corny.
Yeah, she had the screensaver on her. That was her, back in the day when the computer would time out, and it would put up the little thing. She would have the little screensaver, little Bible quotes and verses and stuff. As a good Catholic lady, my mother is.
My parents wanted, man. I'm glad my parents did not see that because they probably would have had me doing Bible warrior or Bible slayer. But I got in Ninja Gaiden, man. I got some throwing stars, and because of that game, I threw some throwing stars and hit my friend in the eye, and I got in trouble. And my mom's like, what made you do this? And I was like, Ninja Gaiden. Yeah.
Oh no.
Eventually, I upgraded to Mario and Duck Hunt and all the fun stuff on there.
Duck Hunt.
Played the dailies out of Super Mario 3. I played that one more than any other game, probably.
Yeah, that was a classic, man.
Xbox.
Awesome. What got you into streaming?
Honestly, I was bored. I've got a lot of health issues, so I'm stuck home a lot, and I was playing a lot of games, and I started doing some tutorials, and people started watching it, and I was like, we can do something with this. Let's do it.
Well, that's how I actually found you. I wasn't game streaming, or I wasn't even playing Stadia at the time. I bought Fallout 76 on PC, and I was I liked the hook of doing the scrapping and stuff like that. But as you know, there was a lot of bugs, and the game got a lot of hate. And I went looking for content creators that weren't pooping on the game, and you were always very positive and were always enjoyable to watch. So
sometimes it was difficult, but yes. Overall, it's got a lot of issues, but it is a great game. The community is amazing. The best gaming community I've ever been a part of, really.
Yeah, the ones that really stuck around are great people. I agree. I've been in the community. I'm like level 300 or something. I haven't played in a very long time, but that's how I came across Ms. Tracey's channel. So.
Awesome.
How about you, Lukey? What is your first gaming experience?
I'm trying to think right back. I think it was Alex Kidd on the Sega Master System. I think that must have been the furthest I can remember back. Remember somebody brought this thing out. I thought, what's that? It's a Master System, and the game was built into the actual Master System itself. It didn't have a cartridge. See, when we were younger, it was very Sega. Like nobody had Nintendo. I don't know if that's. I don't know. I don't know about you, Blake. I know America's very Nintendo, but where I lived, it was just Sega. Everyone had Segas.
You guys called it the Mega Drive? What was
Mega Drive. Yep.
Mega Drive.
Sega Mega Drive.
We had the Mega Drive, and then the Master System was the one before that.
Yeah.
The one after the SG-100. But yeah. So I think it was Alex Kidd. I had a friend who had a Mega Drive and Master System. He had all the games. So it was like Sonic the Hedgehog, then Altered Beast. So down that sort of route, I can remember. Yeah.
Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage, yes, that was it. Yeah,
Ooh, that is a good one. That is a good one. So, all right, what was your first console that you actually owned? Not like gaming experience, like you just picked it up and checked it out, but what was your first console that you actually owned? Starting with you, Lukey.
Do you know what? This is going to be shock horror. This is shock horror now.
Okay.
If I told you my first ever console was the Xbox 360, you wouldn't believe me, would you?
Oh,
I never had. Yeah, that's.
I have so many questions.
I never had. When I grew up, I didn't have any. My parents didn't really. We didn't have computer games, but my friends did. I was quite an outgoing kid. I was always out my BMX and stuff like that. And as I got older, games come out and stuff. But I was one of these kids that didn't really have consoles, but I was over my friend's house who had them. So I was like, it got to the point where I didn't really ask for one because I was always over my mate's house. And I had one mate who had everything. He literally had every game that ever came out.
I got one of those.
It's quite
I had one of those.
And to be fair, it was just like having my own console. Just go to his house across the road. We spend all day there. And then
it's rare.
Yeah, as I grew up, I grew up and I don't know what happened.
I think there's a difference between US and Canada and the UK. I think you guys you guys in the US always had everything first. Things always came to the Canada and the UK later. So I think Lukey and I were always sort of at a disadvantage because there'd be stuff they would come out later. Like even if you look up the history of stuff, it came out and and then years later it came out either for Canada. Again, there's licensing issues. There are, there's the federal governments have to approve things. It just is not right. So I think
different rules to different countries.
Different rules. Yeah, so I think for us in Canada and the UK, I just think it took longer. And so, I would see things on the bulletin boards and the magazines.
Yeah.
I wonder when I'm going to get that. And it was just, right. So if you look up the history of certain games, they always released in Japan first, then the US, then elsewhere in the world. Right.
Yeah.
So
that's about the way it works.
Yeah.
So High Score is just basically, it's dripping with nostalgia. If you want a trip down memory lane, it is fantastic. Now, all of you are very familiar with the Atari story, or most of you are. What happened in the 80s and the crisis that almost killed gaming, basically. Now High Score is available on Netflix if you'd like to check it out. But here's another documentary. We're going to be discussing 3 of them, but here's another one. Easy to learn, hard to master: The Fate of Atari. It's on Amazon Prime. Let me go back to my thing here. This is the art for it. So if you are an Amazon Prime member, you can just click on it and watch it for free. It is a fantastic documentary, and basically, it shows you the business practices of Atari and how it got into the trouble that it was in. The thing that fascinated me the most is the corporate structure. You know, all of you are familiar with the way Atari was ran at first, where people had their own hours. They could come and go. It was kind
Best
of
job ever.
Yeah, it was very hippie-ish, you know.
Yeah.
People would smoke cigars and other stuff in the hallway out of the business meetings and stuff. I mean, it was pretty wild. People would drink in hot tubs, you know, on the third floor or something. Like, it's pretty wild. But they were making good money and everything was going good until like the creator or the owner, he sold half of it. And when he basically became a partner in his own company, it became very corporate. They didn't like the hippy dippy mentality. We want you here at 9. Where are all the developers? Nobody's in here. We have a deadline. What's going on? And one of the shifts that happened in the perception of the company was quantity, not quality.
Yeah.
And something else they ran into is they started to try to port all of these arcade games directly to Atari, and Atari couldn't do it. Not only was ET a failure, and a lot of people pin ET as the failure of Atari, but they failed before ET. Pac-Man.
Right.
Pac-Man was horrible on Atari.
It was Howard Scott Warshaw was the creator of ET. He was the one. He's the guy that you see. He had the hippie hair, and then you get to see what he looks like now. All the hair is gone and everything. I think he was wearing Hawaiian shirts or something. But he was the person that made ET, and he was trying to tell him like, look, I need to do this at what time? Because Christmas, the holidays, and they had a deadline, and so.
Yeah, the development cycle was something around 9 months for a whole Atari game from the start all the way to boxing it and selling it. And he had 5 weeks for ET. 5 weeks instead of 9 months.
Plus, I think he was smoking something when he was doing that game, too.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was.
Create that game.
I'm sure he was. But yeah, it's just very interesting. And they basically crashed themselves. What ended up happening is a small group of the developers that were making in-house games and stuff, they got together, and one thing they were really good at was math. So they started tracking what games they worked at, and they found out, we're making you guys $60 million or $1 billion a year off of the games we have made. So they go to the company and they say, hey guys, why don't you give us an incentive here? Let's do a 10% kickback on each cartridge that's sold if it's popular and blah, blah, blah. And they said, no, man, you guys are a dime a dozen. We'll hire somebody else.
They were young college kids too.
Yeah.
But the thing was that they were brilliant, smart tech guys, and they took these guys for granted. And so hugely. So, you know.
Yeah, they told him basically hit the bricks, man. This is an assembly line, and you're just a part of it, is what they were trying to say. And you know what they did? They got together and said, "Okay, forget you. We are going to sell you our games now." And they made what was it? Acclaim.
Yes.
Or Activision. I'm sorry, Activision.
Yes, Activision.
Activision. Now that I did not know that. That is something that I learned from this documentary, that they went to the basic board and said, hey, give us a little more coin. And they said, nah, you're not important. So once that happened, if you look at the Activision games, they're all the most popular. They're the ones that you remember the most. And they ended up selling their games to, or licensing them to Atari. Just fantastic story. And you know, they're still around today doing awesome stuff. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good.
All right. So, Lukey, how did you get started in streaming? And can you tell us a little bit about your channel and yourself, sir?
Yeah. Obviously, I'm Lukey 6. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, mainly Google Stadia content. Main reason really was Google Stadia that got me into it, because it was so accessible to stream with the YouTube Direct streaming. Obviously, I don't have like powerful PCs and stuff like that. Something I'm working on, but I think game stream was a bit daunting at first. Something I've always wanted to do, but I thought it seemed like such a saturated market. I thought, where do I go? Yeah, I was just doing it to have fun, but Stadia come along, and Stadia. And at first, I thought I'm the only person in the world that plays Stadia, and then I realised there's other people. So it's my, I did. I was like, I'm the only person. There's no one online, and then I realised there are other people. And the direct streaming thing come out, and I jumped onto that. I thought, oh, okay, this is quite cool. I'll do that. And now I've sort of developed and got a webcam, and do what I can do, and I'm having fun with it, and that's what I'm all about, really, having fun. If people want to watch me at the same time, then that's all.
Awesome. Quality streamer. Quality streamer, just to add, guys.
Thanks,
it's so fun to watch.
Can you tell us a little bit about the music you're interested in, man?
Oh, man,
I know you dabble in the music a little bit. So.
How many hours we got? Yeah, no, I am into all sorts. My sort of roots, I guess, are metal, Motley Crue, sort of Skid Row, that sort of thing.
Leppard?
But Def Leppard, all that sort of era. But I am actually quite big into. I hate saying this because everyone goes, "Ugh," the whole new metal scene. like Korn, Deftones. That's my main.
That was my era.
Come on, bro.
I know, but
Awesome.
I know. But when
we're friends.
Come on, man.
Whenever you mention new metal, it has. I love. That's my sort of thing. Deftones, Korn, Kitty, Cold Chamber. New metal had this sort of thing where it wasn't cool. I don't know if it was my age group, it was cool, but anybody else, it wasn't. New metal has this sort of
an age group thing. I noticed.
I think it was like we used to wear big jeans and chains and stuff like that. And it was but that sort of stuff, I still listen to that now. I don't listen to much new music. There's a few bands like I Prevail and
Freak on the Leash. New music, damn, dude.
Freak on the Leash.
Come on, man.
But, I mean, that stuff is just. Yeah, that's the world I'm in. That's what I listened to back in the early 2000s, and I'm still there now.
If I had to pick a band from that era, I would have to say Sublime.
Yeah, Sublime. Yeah, Sublime are good. Yeah, so I'm sort of stuck in that sort of era still, sort of late 90s, 2000s. That's the sort of bubble I'm in. Really, you know what I mean?
With music, at least for me, it's really hard to. And some of this is because of the market and how they market CDs and stuff. But it's hard to put an album in and just listen to the whole thing.
Right.
Sublime is one of those I can from cover to cover. So
yeah.
So that's awesome.
I think it's different now with streaming and streaming stuff like that. Is because you used to buy a CD and that was it. You had the CD. You would listen from track one to the end. you do it again. No.
Or you bought the cassette. Yeah. Or you bought the cassette and CD for one song, and then you're like, "What is the rest of this stuff?" Oh,
Rewind it and fast forward it. To get the Oh god!
It'd have a sticker on the front with the hit single, and that's the one you'd listen to, and then the rest is like, "What's going on here?"
Eventually, you get into them, though, don't you? Like some of them, you're like, "Okay, I'll listen to track 4. Yeah, track 7's growing on me," but the rest of them,
yeah.
But I used to be like. That was sort of my attitude. I mean, during them sort of years, it was always about being different. I was one of those kids. I was always the guy with the long hair, the eyeliner and stuff. I'd always like the track that no one else liked because I don't like it everyone else likes. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, the last track that no one listens to.
I have a question for the whole panel. Let's see. What is the most obscure game you have enjoyed? It could be the arcade, it could be on a system, and all obscure means is not a well-known game, not a Mario or something like that, just a very weird game that you ended up liking or enjoying. I have a little story with mine, but this is for the whole panel.
I got a weird one. I don't know, maybe this was more popular than I thought it was, but I played the shit out of World of Goo on the Wii.
World of Goo?
Yeah, you had to shoot these little goo things, make ladders, and it was like a puzzle strategy.
I remember that.
Way too much.
Yeah, I did not play very much of the Wii. My nieces and nephews had it. I tried to attempt to play what was it? One of the Star Wars games. I think it was Force Unleashed, and the way the controller was just messed up. I couldn't do it. I'm used to having it right in front of me and stuff.
I really liked playing Resident Evil on the Wii, but it was too freaky for me. I couldn't finish it.
Yeah. Resident Evil was good. They actually did a remake on GameCube that was fantastic of the first Resident Evil. But how about you, Lukey? What's the most obscure game that you've enjoyed?
I'm trying to think obscure. There's one game I did actually mention on a stream the other day. It was on the Nintendo Wii again. It was called Mad World. I don't know if anyone remembers it, by Sega. And it was all black.
Oh.
It was like black and white
Mad
comic
World.
book. And you had a chainsaw and you had your Wiimote and you'd like.
You guys don't laugh at me, but
there
Of course he's got it.
There it is.
I love that game. There's something about that game. I wish they brought an HD version of that out because it's such a fun, gory game. You've got these traps. It reminds me sort of like The Running Man. You've got all these traps and you're throwing people into spikes but the blood's all like red. Everything else is black and white. And it's just like
So
brutal.
awesome.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Speaking of that, that's a great segue. We're going to go through with the rest of the question for the panel, but blood is important in the next segment we're going to do, actually. Go ahead, Blake. What's or you, Ray, you can go and then
I'm gonna let Blake go. I'm gonna let Blake go.
Okay. I'm actually gonna not use words. I'm just gonna show you.
Okay. I'll go ahead and I'll add it. Let me
I don't know if you guys recognize this game.
Hold on. Let me get the there you go. Oh, Parappa the Rapper.
Parappa the Rapper.
Parappa the Rapper. This game was so weird. Unbelievably weird. But it was obviously it was games like this that kick-started. I won't do it too much. I don't want to copyright anything. It's one of those things that kick-started like your Guitar Hero and stuff like that, like you kind of dance and stuff like that. But it was the most weirdest thing ever. And honestly, it probably was quite culturally racial in a sense. It was very cheesy Asian, but to its extreme. But the storyline was weird. But I loved it. I couldn't put it down because I just wanted to get like perfect stars. And I completed it. But yeah, that was my one.
Parappa the Rapper. That's a good one, man. They actually on one of the famous magazine demo discs had Parappa the Rapper on it, and I played that. Yeah. I never bought the game, but I played that demo probably till it stopped working.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah,
I don't think I ever played that. That looks very interesting.
It's a bit weird. Check it out. Check it out on YouTube. It's a weird one, but strangely addictive. I couldn't put it down.
Okay, now Jeff, we know that you go way back to before DOS. So, what obscure game,
Rock and Chisel,
that you enjoyed
before DOS?
Yeah. When I was, I forget how old I was. I used to love the books that had multiple versions, multiple tracks. So you'd be reading the book, and then
choose your own adventure.
Yeah, something like that. But you it's like choose your own ending. So you get to a point, and then if you say, okay, do you want to go left or right? And then if you go left, then you go, oh, now go to page 80, and it continues, and then you get to another fork, and you go do something else. So I used to love. And then, of course, I would reread it and track each one I did. And there'd be like, maybe 20 different endings, 20 different ways to get you to the end of the book. So therefore, when video games came out, I used to love the text adventure games where, there was no graphics. It's just you were at a pond. Okay. I need to fish, but I don't have a fishing rod. So I have to go break a branch, and you have to then do a bunch of stuff. So I used to really like all those text adventure games. I said it last week, using the world's greatest graphics card, your brain. So I used to love those kind of games where it was, you had to actually think about it. You actually had to, had to scrap pieces of paper, and you had to plot where you were, and you go, crap, now I've gone north 3 times. Oh crap, where am I? And then you're completely lost, and you got to kind of backtrack. So I actually liked all of those games, before they came out with graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah. A lot of those first basic games were all text, and you had to either type in your commands and it had to be acceptable or nothing happened.
That's right. Go north, turn left. Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever heard of the NES game? Now, see, let me back up with my little story here. My dad was he was a swap meet person, man. He'd go to flea markets, the swap meet. He would leave the house with a guitar, come home with a boat. 3 days later, have 2 goats and some chickens. You're like, what dude? Wow. Yeah. So I would go with him to these flea markets. And as Ray would do later in his life, looking for deals and steals, I would just go and look for games because, they were cheap at the flea market, and, I was getting drug along anyway. So anyway, I would go look for games, and I bought a game called Archon or Archon. I don't know how you say it here. Let me share my screen real quick, and I will show it to you. But it's like chess. How many of you guys play chess?
Yeah,
I've played chess. Yeah.
Okay, so it's very, very similar to chess. I'm not going to share the audio, but it's extremely similar to chess. Check this out real quick.
Nice.
Shouldn't be any audio, but so it's just like chess. When the game starts, you pick black or white, and then they march out like chess pieces. And then here's the thing, though. I literally put this in.
Cool.
I put this in the first 5 minutes, took it out and threw it. I was like, I'm never going to play this game. But a few days later, I got bored and I started to play it. I learned chess, and it's not quite like chess. There's magic, and watch when they start fighting. It's not just you move your knight and you take a pawn. No, you fight the pawn. And if the pawn kicks your ass, well, your knight loses. So, so it's kind of like chess. It's like battle chess.
That's awesome.
But so watch.
I gotta try this.
They're gonna start a fight.
Oh, it goes into a little fight scene. Come on.
Yes.
Nice.
That's
I'm
what
never gonna
talking
play normal
about.
chess ever again now.
Yeah. So now he beat him, and now he's gonna take the place or the piece. Yeah. Very, very,
like
very
that.
interesting.
That's so
I like
cool.
that.
So do they all have their own kind of abilities and gifts, and like with chess pieces, they have different positions they can go.
Yes. Yes.
So they do have their okay.
They have different ways that they move, and they all just like chess. You know, the knight moves in an L, and you know all that happy stuff. But when it comes down to just taking the piece, it's not quite like chess because then you have to actually fight the pieces. You know.
Next time I play chess, I'm gonna have two pieces go to each other, and I'm like, "Well, come on, fight!"
A wrestling match.
So boring. Yeah.
Well, I got my game SPG.
Okay.
All right, y'all don't laugh at me now. Don't laugh at me.
We will.
We'll try not to.
Oh.
Ah!
I'm sorry. I failed.
So I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Because I'm gonna keep it real. I love Boy George, Madonna, Michael Jackson, Prince. I was a huge 80s kid. And so when this game came out, guys, now I didn't have Michael Jackson's white glove, but I had a white sock.
Oh, Ray, come on.
And my wife.
Why are you sharing this?
My wife, because I'm gonna keep it real. Okay, I'm keeping it real. My wife walked in on me doing Billie Jean with a sock on my hand with the fingers cut out, and I was doing the moonwalk and all the dancing. There you go.
Wow, new levels. There's new levels.
You need to send us a video of you moonwalking.
Please.
You need to go outside.
I will pay hard cash.
You need to go outside. You need to moonwalk. You need to.
Yeah. Hugely short. Yeah.
Breakdown for those who don't know.
You need to show us.
My wife was like, "What the hell are you doing with this sock?" I was like, "Hey, it's on my hand."
Billie Jean. Turn around and walk out right now.
I just want in the chat, Mr. Urban World mentioned Oddworld. I loved Oddworld on PS1. As people watching may or may not know, where I live, we're in complete lockdown, and we have been for 6 months, more or less. So I can't get to flea markets, not that there were any. I can't get to stores. So I've been trying to get Oddworld. The only reason why I want a PlayStation 5, and I'm not going to get one, is because of the remake of Oddworld. But I used to play that. I had this old TV. It was more green than any other color. And I used to sit there, and I loved Oddworld. That and Duke Nukem were the two games.
It's good on the PS5. You'll love it. It's good on the PS5. You'll love it.
I'm not going to get a PlayStation 5, so
I'll play it, and I'll think of you when I'm playing.
There you go. But yes, I loved Oddworld back in the day. Shout out to Mr. Urban World. Loved Oddworld. Love that back in the day. I will get a copy of it, and I will stream it one night when I can get it. When I can leave the house. Basically.
Now you brought up Michael Jackson. What's that other Genesis Michael Jackson game that he actually worked on? Is that Moonraker or
Moonwalk? Come on, man. Moonwalk, which was an amazing game, guys. I played. I remember. Now, see, I didn't have the consoles. My cousin had it, and I played it, and it was amazing.
Earthworm Jim.
So
Earthworm Jim. So hard.
I have a Toe Jam and Earl.
Go.
I can hear the music in my head.
Was that Was that from before, Blake?
What's that?
In the private?
Oh yeah, from before. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Anytime. If any of you guys want to share your screen, go right ahead. If you want to set it up.
Ray, you need to make a video of you moonwalking.
You shut
outside
up,
on the
Jeff.
street.
Shut
So
up.
we need to do something here.
Shut up.
You need to get your son. Where's Evan? Evan!
Hey, you shut up. You shut up.
Where's Evan?
Kevin's in the chat. Kevin's he's our elf friend. So yeah, Kevin, make this happen, buddy.
Yeah.
You add it to the intro, like bolt it onto the intro.
I meant his son.
Yes.
I meant his son, Evan. Get Evan out there to yeah.
Okay, I'm going to bring up something real quick.
Oh, this guy's a legend.
Yeah, in high score, they go into detail and explain how an African-American gentleman got basically screwed or forgot about. He helped design the very first cartridge-based system that you could, called the F channel, that you could switch ROM. So you could have one system and many games because you could pull them off and, pull them off and on. But he basically was forgot about. Let's see, Jerry Lawson was an engineer.
Yep.
Was an engineer and early video game pioneer who led the team that developed the Fairchild Channel F, a groundbreaking game console that was the first to make use of swappable ROM cartridges. It was ultimately eclipsed by the runaway success of the Atari. So we just covered the Atari and how it died. Well, this is the man that actually made it possible for the cartridge-based systems to be around. And down here at the bottom, because he was basically forgotten, Lawson, who died in 2011, was one of the few black engineers involved in the very early days of the video game industry. Before working on the F Channel F, he created an early arcade stand-up called Demolition Derby. In 1980, he left Fairchild and launched a development studio. But what they did, established at the University of Southern California, USC, games program. So they made a games program in honor of him.
Wow.
You know what was cool? SPG was in the documentary. His kids, his son and the grandson were able to bring out the dad's cartridges and cutouts and talk about his memory and everything. So
this is in Game Over, isn't it? Game Over.
Yeah. That was.
I mean, guys, the way they describe it is that he did this in his garage.
Yeah.
So this guy was a genius.
Everybody did in the 80s, Bill and Bill and Steve and everybody. Everybody did it in their garage back then, right?
Yeah.
Sergey and everyone did it in the garage back then. And it was all old white men, and just look at NASA. Who did all the important NASA calculations to get that was all women, it was all other people. And now you're starting to hear the credit, but back in the day, it was just old white men that were taking off, with their big, with their suits and their smoking and their whatnot, right? Yeah. And all the people who actually did the work, you never heard of them. Now they're starting to get the recognition they deserve. But back then, it was a Mad Men. Just look at Mad Men. Yeah. That was the era.
Yeah, and shout out to the women, dude. There was a lot of women developers that were at Atari that we're starting to hear in these documentaries. Yeah, so, it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's getting the recognition that he deserves, because without him, we wouldn't have had Atari. We wouldn't even have had Nintendo. Maybe it would have been set up differently, but anyway, he has a USC Games Endowment named after him, and I think it's fantastic. He's getting the credit that he deserves. Real quick, Jeff, do you want to do that? Not this week in retro, but the other thing.
Oh, the poll?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's find it here.
So
there we are. Go ahead and explain.
Someone tweeted me yesterday. And I will post a link in the chat in a minute. But he is doing a poll. And yesterday was day 1. He just posted day 2. So I'll post the one, then you can go and dig out his feed. But basically, now, William, you've already gone and done all of these.
Yes,
but
answered them.
He's trying to do 100. He's posting 128 games, kind of like a March Madness kind of, elimination, sort of round robin-y sort of thing, and trying to get the best game. Can you zoom that in a little bit? Can you?
I
Can you
don't.
maximize that out a little bit?
I think I can.
Can you make the screen just so we can
Like that?
see? Yeah, just so
There
you
we
can
go.
see what
There you
some of
go.
the games are. So you picked. What did you pick? You picked
DuckTales. So
DuckTales.
Over. Yep.
let's go through. Let's go through real quick as a panel.
Yeah.
I chose DuckTales out of those two games. What would you have chose, Jeff, if you've played them, if you know them?
Oh, I probably would have picked DuckTales.
Okay, you're in the majority like
I
me.
don't think I was a Chippendale. Yeah.
Chippendale what?
No
Kind of guy. Kind of guy. Ray.
No
I think
comment.
Ray is the
No
Chippendale guy.
comment.
Oh, Canadian sass. I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
Blake, how about you? What would you have picked?
Oh, it's a difficult one.
I liked them both. They were very similar.
Mhm.
They really were.
Yeah, honestly, very similar for me. To be honest, I couldn't really. It's difficult to pick.
Okay, Mr. Urban World in the chat, he chose DuckTales. Woo!
He was singing that theme song. He was singing that theme song.
In his head, hell yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
There's a metal version of that theme song by Leo something. It's freaking amazing.
Oh, I'll have to look that up.
I gotta look that up.
Yep,
Yeah.
me too, man. Absolutely. Because that's a cool jam. I couldn't imagine it with electric guitar and stuff. That'd be cool.
Oh, it's great.
So I chose DuckTales. Jeff chose DuckTales. Blake, what did you choose?
If I have to pick, it would be DuckTales. Yeah.
Okay, you're in the majority too. How about you, Ray?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, DuckTales. Woo!
I'm waiting for Lukey to say the opposite now, just so he can be in the opposite crowd.
Great. Ms. Tracey, how about you?
It's DuckTales. The only Chippendale I liked was Chris Farley.
That was
Well,
awesome.
Jeff liked Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. Him next to Chris Farley, next to Patrick Swayze.
I love
That was
Ghost.
amazing.
Ghost was a great movie. Loved Ghost.
Yeah. How about you, Lukey? Which game would you go with?
It would be DuckTales for me. Yeah, I'd like to be different,
Awesome.
but it's DuckTales for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked using. You could be a couple characters, I think, in DuckTales, but I liked Scrooge McDuck with his cane.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so the second question, or the second one, was which game was better, Goonies 2 or Maniac
Goonies.
Mansion?
Goonies.
Are
Goonies.
you crazy?
I chose Goonies 2.
Are you guys crazy? Come
Yes.
on, Maniac.
Yes, we are.
Come on, Maniac Mansion is like cult, has a cult following, dude. And that's why the percentage is high too.
Well, that is why. I never actually had that game or played it, so I missed that one. But Goonies 2 I did have, so I picked Goonies.
Yeah.
What about you, Blake?
If I didn't play the other one, I would have done Goonies.
I haven't played Goonies, but Manic Manson, yes, is what I would pick. Yeah.
Okay, Ray and Blake were in the majority this time. How about you, Lukey?
Maniac Mansion for me. I played the Goonies too, so I can't really pick that one. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even tell you what game is better. I know Goonies 2 was it wasn't for everyone. I'll put it that way.
right.
It was nothing like the movie. Okay. Second portion here, or third portion here. This one is very close, 50-50 it looks like. What is better for NES, Ghosts and Goblins or Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest?
You want Ghost and Goblins for me. Love Ghost and Goblins. God,
I went Simon's Quest.
God,
So,
I
yeah.
remember the box, man. I remember getting that game and having the box.
Yeah.
See, I think my thing was I got that game early enough young enough that I died more often in Ghosts and Ghouls, so I gravitated towards Simon's Quest because you could walk around longer before dying. But I chose Simon's Quest, but that is 50-50. So
Yeah.
I chose Simon's Quest. Blake or Jeff, you chose Simon's Quest. How about you, Blake?
Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghosts and Goblins. Ray did Ghosts and Goblins.
I'm doing it now because I didn't do it ahead of time. Now Simon's Quest is up 51.6 to 48.
You're a cheater. Sorry, man.
Polls have
Cheater.
ended, sir.
Polls ended, man.
I want a ring count. I want a ring count.
I was waiting for
That's
someone to drop that
funny.
in.
That's funny. Yeah, it looks like Ghosts and Goblins is going to win. How about you, Miss Tracy?
I only ever played Simon's Quest. I never played Ghost and Goblins.
Oh, so you chose Simon's?
Oh, you're on.
Actually, didn't choose anything. I didn't see this yet.
That's okay. How about you, Lukey?
They're both great games, but for me, Simon's Quest is the winner there.
Yeah, I like the music. The music was better.
Some good tracks. Yeah,
absolutely. Now here's one that I almost didn't even make a selection. But what's better, ice hockey or Blades of Steel?
Come on, man.
It's drastic. It's drastic.
Blades of Steel, brother.
Yeah, all of us would be in the majority on that. No.
Well, I would be kicked out of Canada if I did not choose ice hockey.
I was going to say. That's what I was thinking.
See, if I don't choose ice hockey,
deep down, you don't like syrup, do you? you can let it out.
No, I love it. If I don't pick hockey, I will get kicked out of Canada. So,
yeah, you're in lockdown at the minute, Jeff. You're all right. You can't leave.
Okay, now I thought this one. Kevin says Blades of Steel all the way.
Kevin, you remember the days, brother. Kevin remembers.
Now this one, I went back and forth on this one for a minute. I had to go and remember the games. I had to bring them up. Which one is better, Monster in My Pocket or A Boy and His Blob?
Boy and His Blob for me.
It's the one I had. I didn't even have the other one, so
I'm not even going to say the other one.
Oh, that's funny. How about you, Jeff?
I'm gonna go Boy and His Blob.
Boy and His Blob.
They're both weird names if I think about it.
Yeah, they are. They're absolutely weird.
Yeah.
But A Boy and His Blob was more mainstream. I think that's why it's got a higher thing. Now, I want to hear Ray's answer to this one right here. What's better, Double Dribble or Super Dodgeball?
Oh man,
so
why
hard.
you do this to me?
Oh no, Dodgeball.
I played them both, and I loved them both. But I got to go with Double Dribble. I have to go with Double Dribble.
Dodgeball.
I was a huge Konami. Konami did all those sports games, and I was a huge Konami fan. But Super Dodgeball, it's very close. Very close. Double Dribble.
The movie, the 5 Ds of Dodgeball. Oh,
we're not talking about the movie. We're talking about the game.
Now the movie was good. The movie was good too.
Was great.
Yeah. But yeah, I went with Double Dribble.
I always hated Dodgeball.
Come on, man! You got to see those little action videos.
How about you, Lukey? Which one do you think? Double Dribble or Super Dodgeball? Oh, did he freeze? Is he gone?
I think he's he's intensely thinking about his question.
He's thinking about it.
I have to go against Dodgeball. I was hit too many times in the head at school, so it gives me nightmares.
Oh yeah, those little pink balls, those little pink rubber balls that I don't know if you had them in where you guys are from, but we had these little pink rubber balls that we would play dodgeball with.
I hated those pink balls. I got hit in the face. A girl hit me in the face, man, and I cried.
Okay, so did you have a specification here, Miss Tracey, on Double Dribble or Super Dodgeball?
Oh, I just always hated Dodgeball, so definitely.
Okay, so alrighty. This I don't even
come
think
on.
They shouldn't even have put these two together. In my opinion,
come on.
It's Kid Icarus all the way, and the next one I don't think has Kid Icarus all the way and Kung Fu.
Kung Fu, really? Come on, guys. Pro wrestling.
No, Kung Fu.
Oh my God, but you just scrolling and you're hitting. Come on. You didn't do nothing in Kung Fu, man, but just scrolling.
We're going Kung Fu fighting.
Pro wrestling. Pro wrestling.
Kung Fu is real. Pro wrestling is not. End of story.
Come on.
Starman.
All right, Lukey, which one? Kid Icarus or Battle of Olympus?
Kid Icarus for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Miss Tracy?
Hands down, Kid Icarus.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. What about the next one, Lukey? Kung Fu or pro wrestling?
I don't know. Yeah,
Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I'm thinking Bruce Lee. Yeah, I'm going Kung Fu. Yeah, Kung Fu. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
It's interesting. It's interesting how he's got it all set up for you to vote him. So basically, Double Dragon, if it wins, will go up against a different game, and then it'll end up coming all the way down to 1.
See, yeah.
That's another tough one, man. But come on, dude, Double Dragon. Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Double Dragon. I'm going to scroll down here for just a minute. Fire Emblem's very popular, and people will kill me, but I haven't played Fire Emblem. Castlevania. Look at how drastic that is. You know.
Oh wow.
I mean, absolutely. Now, Final Fantasy III isn't a slouch, but when you go to the older consoles, they're not as enjoyable. Like the
Castlevania is hands down.
Absolutely.
Playing on
and look at that. That was one of your games, Ray, from last time.
Hey, Batman, all the way.
I don't even know what Diver is.
Oh, I don't either. Maybe I wonder if that's a Bible adventure one.
I was about to ask Miss Tracey actually if you played that one at all.
No, just that's the warfare one. That was hard enough.
Yeah, I think the only Christian like game set I think I ever played was something about Noah's Ark, I think. Or maybe it was had multiple games on one cartridge, I forget. They hurt so much. Absolutely. Mega Man 2 obviously wins. I don't know what Doki Doki Panic is. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yes, I've seen Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, my daughter, believe it or not, my daughter loves Doki Doki Panic.
Oh.
Doki Doki Panic?
Okay, let's see here.
Doki Doki Panic is
Jackal, baby. Yes.
Doki Doki Panic is Mario Brothers, isn't it?
I was just looking at that. It's Super Mario Brothers, isn't it?
Oh, right on.
Super Mario Brothers. It's what
my friend had Jackal. I didn't have it, but he did.
Love Jackal.
I didn't have Guerrilla War either.
I had them both, but Jackal's hands down, dude.
Look at Shadowgate. That's gonna win for sure.
Cool. Yep.
And this one was a kind of a tough one for my buddy. I ran this by him, and he couldn't decide. But I chose Ninja Gaiden 2. Frustrating as hell, very hard, but really dug the game though.
Throwing stars.
Yeah, and the scrolls or whatever you would throw up.
I wonder why he didn't put, because the next one is, wonder why he didn't put 1 versus 2. I wonder.
Very true.
I wonder.
There's
man.
Oh, I saw that, and I was like, I wonder why he didn't put 1 versus 2. But maybe he was. I don't know.
Yeah. You should put 1 against 1, 2, and 3 first, maybe, and then move up.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not how he did it. But Punch Out certainly beats Ninja Gaiden. Who here is not a Punch Out fan?
That's fun. My Punch Out is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Ninja
Gaiden, the first one.
Sorry.
Coming from the guy who said pro wrestling over kung fu.
Right? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
and I think
Ninja Gaiden for me as well.
But I believe I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the chat if I can.
I already did.
Oh, okay, cool. So
Yeah,
if you guys want to go, and do this yourself and follow it, that would be fantastic because I'm going to keep following it. I think that's just an awful lot of fun.
I did tweet him and tell him that we were going to discuss it on the show, and sent him the link. So,
right on. Do you want to go ahead and do the This Week in Retro, Jeff?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. So, for those of you that follow me or don't follow me, I do. I don't do it every single day. I do it right before the show. When I find something that's interesting in retro, then I do post it. It'd be interesting. I'd like to know Lukey and Tracey's. What do you think? When do you think retro starts or ends, or I don't know what the question is? Because I posted. I do a retro game every Friday night, as people know, and I posted a little. I do a little 1 minute short that I posted on TikTok, and some guy, he said, if you, and I did last week. I did a 2003 game of Crash at Nitro Kart, and someone on TikTok commented and said, if you think 2003 is retro, you must be young or something like that, although I'm like twice his age.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when I do these, I kind of look at what is retro. So it'd be interesting after this to know what you guys think retro is. Like, what is retro to you? I know Lukey, and it's 80. I'm a big 80s hairband guy. So is that
yes,
that
you look it too, Jeff.
Is that retro or is that what? But so here this week-ish, because the show is every 2 weeks. So these are just some games that came out. So 2006. 2006 was a big week. You had X-Men. You had Call of Duty, the Game of Year edition on the Xbox. Super Mario was released in Canada finally. Woo! So I had to put that in there.
What stands out to me is X-Men. I'll scroll down in just a second. But something that stands out is X-Men. That wasn't a great game, but it was a much better version of a game based off of a movie than you'd normally get.
Yeah.
Yep. Nothing really special. And it had some bugs, but it was for a movie license type deal. It was really cool. Go ahead, Jeff. I'll scroll down.
Yeah, and then in 2000 I missed the year. I think it's 2000. SimCity was released for the Windows version in the US.
Oh wow!
Then we go back. Game of Nim was released for the Altair 8800. For you youngins who don't know what an Altair is,
let me just Google that.
You guys can Google that.
If you don't have to Google it.
If you guys don't know what the Altair is, I think Steve and Wozniak are going to be quite upset with you if you don't know what that is.
What is that thing?
I know what it is. Never touched it.
I have no clue, folks.
If you handed that to me and said, "What is this?" I'm looking at a picture of it. I'm like, something out of from NASA, like in the 80s. I don't know.
Was that like a?
I want to give two shouts out. Mr. Urban World says, "You're not an 80s fan if you haven't seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space," and I have to say that is a truthful statement. And that movie's goofy as hell, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Here's the second. You're also not an 80s fan if you haven't seen Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, that truck.
Yep.
If you don't know, Maximum Overdrive is a Stephen King either short story or novel that was turned into a movie, and it is a guilty pleasure of mine. And speaking of that, since Mr. Urban World brought it up real quick, what is a guilty pleasure movie of yours? Doesn't have to be good. Starting with you, Jeff. It can be old, new, it doesn't matter. But what is a guilty pleasure movie of yours that you enjoy watching that other people would walk out of the room?
Oh God, almost everything I watch.
By the way, we're keeping this clean. By the way,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the chat to explode.
You know what?
You ruined it for me.
I don't know if it's. I'm not sure if you can call it retro, but True Lies with Arnie. And Arnie
that's an amazing film.
Come on, man! You better not forget her name.
How is that a guilty pleasure?
Jeff. Come on.
That's a great movie.
Halloween, Jeff.
That's good.
No, I'm not a scary movie person. So all those I forget what year it came out, but there was a movie about the killer bees, and I had nightmare for weeks. After that, that was it. I was done. I was never watching another horror movie again.
Okay, I've got a very obscure guilty pleasure, and it's called The Garbage Pail Kids. It is a horrible movie.
Oh yeah,
horrible.
I love.
But I enjoy watching it sometimes. So, okay, go ahead, Blake. How about you?
I was literally just trying to look up. Here we go. Oh, that's the name. I was getting the name wrong. Is it called Junior? The one with Arnold Schwarzenegger and
where he gets pregnant.
Yeah, when Arnold Schwarzenegger gets pregnant. Yeah.
Where he gives birth. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, Kindergarten Cop was good along there too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What about Stop or My Mom Will Shoot?
Sure.
Have you heard of that? That's got Sylvester. That's got Sylvester Stallone in it, and the little old lady from the Golden Girls.
Yep.
It's called Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Did you hear about the story behind that? Was it Arnold Schwarzenegger was offered I believe this is right. Arnold Schwarzenegger was offered the part of that. He read the script. And he was like, I'm not doing this. This sounds rubbish. So he gave it to Sylvester Stallone. He said, "This is going to be a big break. Go do it." and he did it, and that's when they sort of had a bit of a falling out, or they have a bit of rivalry over it. He's like, this would be brilliant. He said the film, and it's like a real, well, yeah, not the greatest film.
All right, I got my movie, guys. 30 Days of Night. It's when it's like the vampires. I mean, way I think it was where the hell were they at? They were Barstow. One of the they were somewhere where it's night for 30 days and the vampires, come on, it's night, no sun. So they just fed on the whole town, people. I have it right over here. I can watch that over and over and over again. And I just love the vampires and their teeth and their dark eyes, and I like watching that late. So that's my guilty.
30 Days of Night is fantastic. I can't remember the main actor that is in the movie, but he Josh Hartnett, I think.
Josh Hartnett, yes.
And he kind of, I think he like, he stopped acting and he's like a family man.
He lost his sex appeal.
But he's a family man.
And then I got one more.
Okay.
I've got one more too. Sorry, you just reminded me of a really good one.
Movie scared the hell out of me when I was young, but it was Phantasm. The tall man. You had the speed balls with the spikes that used to fly through the air in the mortuaries, and they would just go and then drain your blood and your fluid.
Yes. Basically this little shiny ball would like hover around and fly around, and then something would pop out of it and stick in your head, and it would just drain your blood.
Yep.
Yeah. The tall man, man was a very creepy dude. The stories didn't quite.
There's like 4 or 5 like movies. They've done so many like parts.
And Mr. Urban World, The Fly was a fantastic movie.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Brilliant visual effects on that. Really good.
Are we talking about The Fly with Jeff Goldblum?
Yes, Jeff Goldblum from the 80s. Yeah.
When he just in the acid.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
I promise I've got one more. This one actually tops my previous one. And I'll say the quote and see if anyone can guess the movie. It's like, dude, you got a tattoo. Dude, you got a tattoo too. What does mine say? Dude, what does mine say? Sweet, what does mine say? Dude,
where's my car?
Dude, where's my car? That was the worst storyline known to man. But my goodness me, I watched that movie about 20 times.
Is this films? Is this guilty pleasures? I'm a bit confused now because a lot of these films are really good.
Right. That's what I was telling Jeff.
That's why it's a guilty pleasure.
Because there's one that I like. There's a film that I like which I still like now. What I could watch all the time, but it didn't do very well. I didn't know this at the time. Again, Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Last Action Hero. I love that film, but it was a bit of a flop apparently, wasn't it? And man, I could watch that on repeat. I love that.
And guess what? It was a video game too.
Yeah, it sure
there was. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Last Action Hero. That's the one with Arnold and the kid that could cross from the movies or whatever, or go into the screen.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I just love the whole. That's cool.
I don't know if this one's really so much hated, but like my favorite, if you want to go kind of retro, would be The Princess Bride.
Oh yeah,
love that.
That's
movie. So
yes,
sure.
That is one of those.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen it?
You have to watch it. You got to watch it.
Absolutely. Andre the Giant is in it. Andre the Giant is in it. When you watch it, if you end up enjoying it and it becomes a classic to you, you're gonna feel like it's way older than it is.
Yeah.
Like I always do. I always think it's like super old, but Rob Reiner like directed it or something. So
I've literally just Googled that The Princess Bride, and the first thing popped up was screen showings in the UK. It's got a screen showing at a drive-in movie club in the middle. It's currently being played right now. So, Luke, if you want to go with me for a romantic evening together,
I'm only about an hour. Yeah, I'll take you, Blake. We're going about an hour and a half away.
Today, let's go.
Let's go.
And I guess the one
I think, I mean,
have seen. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say Donnie Darko. I don't know if anybody's seen that one.
That was a good one.
That's
if people haven't seen it, it's it's a very creepy movie, and it can be hard to follow, but if you get it, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Especially with the plane.
I agree with you, Mr. Urban World.
I had to watch it twice because of the plane at the end or whatever.
I'm just going to end it with Ghostbusters. If it's a guilty pleasure or not, it's the best film ever made.
Yeah. Well, those are. I would have to
those
say
are classic icon. With all Canadian productions. To say.
Yes, yeah.
I would say Ghostbusters and the Back to the Futures have to be my favorite trilogies.
Back to the Future.
Yes.
They have to be my favorite trilogies. And my dad, funny story. My dad loves Back to the Future so much he would meditate to the damn movie. He wouldn't sleep. Like we'd be little kids, and he would have Back to the Future on. We'd be waiting for him to fall asleep so we could turn the channel. And he would be snoring, and we would turn the channel, and he'd sit up. What are you doing? I was watching that. How in the hell were you watching that?
Such a classic.
Yeah,
that's Serial Mom. I actually have. That's a fucked up. That's another one. That's really bizarre.
I have not seen that one. Not Serial Mom. What about My Stepmother's an Alien?
Mm-hmm.
With
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd. Did you want to name off some more of these games, Jeff?
Yeah. The one. So go back up a little bit. You always forget that there were Star Wars movies out for Windows, right?
Yes.
You always think console and stuff, right? But you always forget that we didn't have those back in the 90s, so they came out with Windows versions. And then of course we had Rock Band, Super Mario Kart. And I told you guys 2 weeks on the last show, my brothers are way older than me, and my oldest brother had a Texas Instruments programmable calculator and had Battleship on it. And I am just hoping, because he's a hoarder, and I'm hoping that it's buried at my mother's house somewhere with all his other crap that he has. So yes, I saw that, and I was like, I got to put that on the list. And because we were talking about the console wars and whatever, Pac-Man the arcade version was released in Japan, so I had to put that on the list. If you scroll down a little bit. Your family still plays the Rock Band, Lord Gamer Man? I love it.
Man, you should stream that sometime, man. That would be a great show.
Here we go. Of course, Ray's got one.
And of course, my favorite arcade game of all time, 1942. It came out in the Game Boy Color version in the U.S., not Canada, but. And then we still say "take off," eh? Hosers. We still say that here in Canada.
I was wondering.
And then Quake. Remember Quake?
Oh, Quake.
Yes. Come on. Quake was huge.
I'm sorry, Blake and Lukey. I just put EU, but it was all these other, European countries.
Yeah.
And I just didn't feel like listing them all. I know there was the purists are going to say there was no EU back in the 90s, but I just didn't want to.
We get it.
I'll tell you what I loved about Quake. I had Quake on Windows, and if you got the CD and played it played music, it had the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack. So if you played it, went on Windows Media Player, whatever it was, you had the whole Nine Inch Nails soundtrack to that.
Couldn't you just put it into a CD track? You could put it in a CD player. And it'll recognize the tracks.
All right, I have another question for you guys. Best music in a game you've played, starting with Jeff.
Oh God, skip me. I have no idea.
Best music I played in a game.
Oh man, that's
Come
hard.
on, guys. I can't believe you guys.
I've got.
Go on, Ray.
Like all of them. The whole
Zelda.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Come on, that's a good one.
If you're going with like classic, then yeah, definitely Zelda. I could tell you every single Ocarina song ever.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be a retro game. Any game with a soundtrack. So like Skyrim's a good one to shout out because it's got great music, but that's not mine though. But so any game. Halo.
Halo's good.
I have to look up the actual game.
I think mine's got to be Final Fantasy VII. The music every time I'll hear like the random soundtracks when when the battle starts, and you're kind of getting into the mode of it. Yeah. All the Final Fantasy VII music's me.
Okay, mine is Way of the Warrior for 3DO, and why? Because the game sucked. The game was very bad. It wasn't a good fighting game, but they had White Zombie soundtrack. So it had like 4 or 5 tracks of White Zombie, and it was just on repeat as you played. So like more human than human while you're fighting it. It was awesome, man. It was
Wait
awesome.
a minute. Did you say White Zombie or Rob Zombie?
White Zombie.
White.
White Zombie was it? Yeah, White Zombie was his band.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, before Rob Zombie. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yep, it was fantastic.
I need to
but
go
it was literally an actual album though. So
after the show, I've got to go find out why Richie Rich is trending on Twitter. I just see on your screen there. I'll have to go look that up later. why I just see Richie Rich is trending on Twitter. I was like, well, I got to go find that out now. Why is he trending?
Got to find out why he's trending, huh?
I know, right?
Love Richie Rich, man. And his dollar.
Sorry, Mr. Urban World. He mentioned about the Tony Hawk soundtrack. The music within Tony Hawk games. Brilliant.
Yes, because they licensed a whole bunch of great grunge songs and stuff, man. They did a great job on that.
What about
Lukey
Crazy Taxi, Offspring?
That had good music too. Lukey 6, favorite Korn song.
Yeah, I just tried to comment that in the chat. Sorry. I think my favourite is Clown from the first self-titled album, though I do really like, I know it's one from the Untouchables album, Thoughtless. I know it was a single. It's not like me to like that, but I love that track as well. But Clown, the first album's one of my favourites.
Okay, Lukey, forgive me for this because Korn was my thing, and for some reason I cannot think for the life of me what the song is, but I can give you the beginning. Like the guitar goes. Blind. Blind. That's it. That was my song. Yeah. Yes, Blind. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you said that. I was waiting for you to be like, "No, I got nothing, mate. What are you doing?"
Yeah, what are you doing? Like keep doing it for 10 more minutes and see what happens.
Just keep repeating myself.
Yeah, no, man, come on. You got. I used to sing "Got the Life."
Got the life.
Come on.
God, that's good. I just love Field. Fieldy's amazing bass player. I just love. I could watch him forever.
Monkey.
It's just he plays it.
Monkey.
But I saw them from the street, from my car, outside, and they were like way in the distance.
Oh man!
Yeah, I saw them in Wembley Stadium, long time ago. But I do remember seeing them. But yeah, they came out. What they did was, whilst we were in queues waiting up, they would blend in with the us waiting outside this huge queue of us, and they'll just wedge themselves in to the crowd, and they'll be like, "Oh my goodness, it's you!" And they would do a runner. I
saw him that. I love Jonathan Davis's microphone. You know, he got it signed by the guy, the alien. What's his name? H.R. Geiger. Yeah, he designed it. It's like a woman. It's such an awesome. Yeah.
Well, this was it though. Like they won't come on stage, and then they'll just put that microphone stand on there, and that was it. And everyone just goes nuts over the microphone stand, didn't they?
That's it.
Okay, the very last show we're going to discuss, because we've discussed a few documentaries today, is Console Wars.
Yes.
For everybody, if you want to go watch this, you absolutely can. Let me bring up the there it is.
Free.
Console Wars is available on CBS All Access, but if you are really wanting to watch it, you can YouTube it and type documentary after it, and you'll find a version to watch. But it's available on CBS All Access. And Console Wars is set right after the fall of Atari, and it's set right after Nintendo took all the market share, because the Atari had took a nosedive in quality, so a lot of people weren't interested in video games anymore. If they wanted to play a video game, they'd hit the arcade. They weren't, it just kind of the home stuff kind of failed. So Nintendo moved into the market and they kind of took it over. And what Nintendo's strategy was quality over quantity, which was almost the opposite of what Atari was doing at the time or at the end. So when this documentary starts, Nintendo is the big is Donkey Kong, and nobody knows who Sega is. And Sega tries to enter into the market, and it's very, very interesting to see the business practices of Nintendo. When Nintendo took all the market share, they didn't play very fair. They didn't play very fair at all. If you want to take over for a second, Ray.
They were brutal, man. They were capitalists. They were, there was systems like TurboGrafx 16 that they couldn't do well because Nintendo. And they went to the KB Toys, Toys R Us, Walmart,
there's a lot of
it was a monopoly, folks.
There's a lot of laws now
They also
because of that, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot of laws now that they've in place because of that, right? So things that they did back, things we did back in the 80s.
They were in the news for their tactics, and a lot of people actually spoke out about Nintendo. And Nintendo, I hate to say it, but they were very conceited businessmen, and it's like, that's business.
Yes,
and so then they shut down. There was a lot of systems that came out and just could not compete with Nintendo.
Like when you have a giant like Nintendo go to Toys R Us that is maybe at the time of Nintendo when it was really big, might have been, let's just say 20% of the overall store's growth, like for profit and stuff, was the games. Well, Nintendo went to like Toys R Us and was like, hey, you know, Sega wants some floor space. Well, we have full floor space. If you give them any floor space, we'll just sell our games somewhere else. So for a little while, they were locked out of the market completely. Now it's not, they weren't breaking the law. It was just scummy business practices.
Sad.
Yep.
Yeah,
the good old days.
Having a bad taste put in my mouth and stuff like that because then I
yeah, but what's funny is as it goes, Nintendo and Sega kind of both put their foot in their mouth. I'll let you guys expand on it a little bit, but basically it almost came down to one thing. Sega was known but not well known, and it was competing against Nintendo. And once they entered the market, a huge game was about to be released, and it was Mortal Kombat, the first one. And then Nintendo made a horrible decision.
Well, here can I just retract?
Yep.
Sega flew a guy from Japan to go meet a guy. I think his name was Kalinsky, and he said, "Look, I need you to run Sega America." And so he's like, nah. And he's on the beach. Okay. And the guy is like, dude, you got to come with me now. We're going to fly to Japan and, you know, do
he
business.
was in charge of motel.
I remember that.
All the stuff at motel, right?
Yeah. He was a marketing business guru.
Yeah.
And so he said, yep. So he hopped on the plane and he flew to Japan.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that he wanted the power. And Sega is mostly like, you know, Japan business guys. They're really private, you know, and he says, please give me free range to take on Nintendo. You guys want me to take Nintendo? You guys got to give me the keys and give me what I need. And so he did. And so he did. And when you guys can speak on it.
Yeah, and they had a major problem. Like he started to make decisions as an American would for the American market, and Japan was like, we have an emergency meeting. They flew him all the way to Japan, and they sat in a room and got cussed for like 30 minutes. And then the guy stood up and he walked out the door, but he turned around at the end and was like, "I told you to do what you wanted. Now go do it. Go do it." They didn't like it. They were mad, but they let they believed in the man enough. Hey, we told you we'd let you do what you thought was right, so go do it. And it made him a lot of money.
This is where it kind of goes into the whole cultural business ethics kind of thing of like what would a standard Japanese traditional business model would look like, how they approach their bosses, how they approach stepping out and being bold. Whereas in America's a little bit, there was, I would say there was more of a boldness to, well, I wasn't going to say, but a little bit more gun-ho with the finances maybe. I don't know.
Or a little more arrogance.
They needed that for American audience.
In the US, a little more arrogance.
I mean, just think of the art design. Art design is so different. Fonts are so different. Texts are so different. Like just that stuff they couldn't agree on.
But there was one thing, guys, that Nintendo had that Sega didn't. Nintendo had a mascot. So they had to figure out, well, who's going to be our mascot? Who's going to be the game that put us on the top?
And Sega was not. I mean, they had to be forced into it. Nintendo was brilliant by packaging their best game with their system, the NES, Mario. At the time anyway, Mario was the best game for the NES, and they packaged it with a system. Well, Sega of Japan was completely against giving Sonic away, just completely against it. It was going to be Altered Beast. That was the only game coming with the Sega until they were talked out of it. It's very, very, very
cool. Calling me out. Let's see if Ray knows why Sega choose Sonic as the mascot. Well, if you looked at the code, if you look Well, Mr. Urban, well, if you looked at the video Wars, they actually had a contest, and they had drawings. People they picked one guy, just one guy with glasses, to pick the mascot. And so this guy, I forgot his name, but he was the one that chose Sonic the Hedgehog because the other drawings were stupid.
They were horrible.
Didn't make any sense, and they was horrible. Honestly, he didn't like none of them. But it was something about the Sonic character that they did like, and they did some modifications to make him cute, and they made him fast.
Yeah.
And when they launched the game, they sold like 1 million copies.
Yeah, and the marketing rivalry between these two companies was palpable and real. Towards the end of this whole mess, you started to have people from Nintendo jump ship to run over to Sega, and literally they describe a part in the documentary where they all went to the same bar and got liquored up at the end of one of these shows, the E3 show or whatever it was, and they ended up like almost coming to blows out in the street. Nintendo and Sega marketing people like almost coming to blows out in the street, in Chicago or wherever they were. Yeah, so
pay to see that.
Yeah, it's incredible. But something that Sega and Nintendo were both doing at the time is they were courting Silicon Graphics. They were courting Sony. And Sega went back and forth, and Sega almost had a deal with Sony for a minute, but the Sega of Japan couldn't agree on the technology or the system, whatever.
He was jealous of the guy because the guy was, let's be real, the guy put Sega on the map, and the guys back in Japan, they was jealous. They was like, who the hell does this guy think he is, man? Who the hell does this guy think he is? And so they said, no, you can't do it. And he's like, are you crazy? And that was the biggest damn mistake that they did.
Yeah.
That was the first time that Kalinsky was overruled by them and said, no, we're not doing that. We're not taking your advice. Yeah. And Nintendo, they messed around with Sony and tried to get the deal done, and they didn't get it done neither. So by the end of this documentary, just to give you a visual, in the very beginning, people are opening Christmas presents going, Nintendo. Yes. By the end of the documentary, they're open Christmas presents going, PlayStation. Because Sony straight up was like, we can't make a deal with you. We can't make a deal with you. You guys are knuckleheads. We'll do it ourselves. Now you got competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see the numbers? PlayStation, Nintendo, and Sega did.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like I said, shout out Kevin's in the chat, but he's the one that got me into PlayStation. And I mean, I think the CD was sexy. You put it in. Hell, you can take the CD out. You can take the CD out, guys, and you can put a music CD in there, close the door down, and play music.
Revolutionary.
While you were playing your game. I mean, even the polygon characters and everything. And then another thing, guys, also that people forget was the memory. Okay. Yeah. You got little memory cards that you got memory cards that came with the PlayStation, and you got the cool controllers.
The
other
I don't want to talk.
8 megabytes. Woo! So many game saves you can put on there.
I'm not going to discuss it today, but on our next episode, I'm going to discuss the Neo Geo in detail, because that is a fantastic machine, and you guys should look it up if you don't know anything about it. Money.
But listen, the thing about it though.
Oh, it's wireless though, isn't it? That's the retro.
But see, the thing is that they came out with the Sega. Another thing that kind of killed Sega was remember when they were adding all these different things to the Sega Genesis? Yeah, I mean, the 32X, the CDX. I mean, the thing was like,
dude, it was a nest full of wires coming out of the back of the damn thing, man. It looked like a squid. a squid out there.
Oh, look at that gorgeous little thing.
That is a sexy piece of machinery.
That PS2 mini
PS2?
and a PS3.
Yeah.
That's a slim version, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fat version of the PS3.
There's the I don't know if you can see. There's the fat PS2.
Yep.
Yeah, just about.
I need more light.
Woo! Ric Flair.
Retro Friday nights, I play them.
But you know what? I have to say though, I was one of the idiots when the Sega Saturn launched. I remember, I think at the time it was called it wasn't GameStops, it was Walden Gamings or something, or Walden. They had a Walden Books and then they had a Walden Gaming store. But I remember $400 in my hand, and I remember buying the Sega Saturn, and I took it home. And hey, the controller was awesome, guys. Okay.
Yeah, so I love the controller.
The controller was awesome. Oh my god.
But when you guys mentioned memory card, it made me think of Neo Geo. The only thing I'll say about Neo Geo, you could take your memory card from your Neo Geo at home and go to the damn arcade and plug it in and continue where you were playing at the arcade.
That's like cool.
That's ridiculous. I can't wait to talk about that.
Oh, I love this thing, man. This was so good.
Was that the
I
Saturn?
remember playing.
This was the Sega Saturn.
Absolutely.
I remember playing Tomb Raider.
And then they gave up on it. Well,
dude, the thing with Sega, man, is that they were like losing their mind at the end. They were trying to make a halfway step between console launches. Like literally the 32X came out a little less or a little more than a year after or before the Saturn did.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So and that was 150. So if anybody just think if you were a Sega fan and you like, I gotta have it, and you went and bought it, and then less than a year later they're like, hey, a $500 machine, come buy this too.
It's crazy.
Bro, when that guy, so when they let Kolinsky go, they had this other guy, and when he was at, I think it was E3, and I remember it. He says, we moved on from Sega Saturn. You know, it's obsolete. We're moving the Dreamcast.
And that was less than a year after that had released.
Bro, I'm like, what? Are you serious?
Yep. Then they started to make games for other systems rather than making systems at all. But they did come out with one of my favorite platforms, though, the Dreamcast. I think that thing is so underrated.
Ray, is there a console or game you don't have? Every time someone mentions something, what, you mean this?
Yeah.
It's in arm's length as well.
But see, the thing about my Dreamcast is it's Japanese.
Oh, you can play the Japan games then.
Yes. And I have a load a CD loader.
Everything's all in Japanese when you load it up.
I have I have what is called a CD loader. So I put the CD loader in, load it, take it out, and then I can put an American game in there, and it plays all the American games, even backup.
Interesting. Question for Ms. Tracey: which game are you better than all your friends? We all have a friend who is way better at one game than anyone else in the group.
This is actually kind of an easy question for me because it's hands down Halo SWAT.
Ooh.
Halo SWAT.
Everybody's ass in that.
Oh,
right.
What?
All right, let's load up the games, guys.
Let's load up the games.
Right? Now we gotta try. I probably need at least a day of remembering how to do it, but then skip through again. It's been a while.
It's like a bike. You'll fall off and remember in no time.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what happens to me. But Miss Tracey, is it okay if we share that Fallout video with everybody real quick?
The trap. Oh God.
Yeah. Go ahead and
Yay.
So how do you want me to do it? Do you want me to play the video with the audio, or do you want me to just play the video and you can talk?
Go ahead and play. You can play the audio and everything. It's
okay. I'll get it set up if you want to just give us quick introduction to what we're going to be watching.
I have to start with the fact that I've learned my lesson now. You can make trap camps in Fallout. And I didn't know that was a thing until this video. And I really should have known better, but it was awesome because I should have been mad, but I just thought it was hilarious. And the guy taught us how he did it. And like the guy that trapped me was so cool. Like, I don't even remember. I don't think I even had junk on me, but he was like going to give me my stuff back if I had lost some stuff. And he taught me how to make the trap. And that was actually my first like really viral video. That's the one that really got me to be recommended on YouTube.
Right on. So this guy, he basically, in the game, you can trade with people and a little icon shows up. It looks like a hand in a money bag and it shakes. You know, so anyway, we should have audio.
Dude, I want to see this. I want to see this.
Yeah, I'm curious.
And then we're gonna go a little bit further into the video as we're watching it, because I want you to see how this was built. I think it's fantastic. It's one of the reasons why Fallout 76 is actually fun to play with, because it takes the building from 4 and then incorporates it into a world with all your friends. So it's interesting to me.
Hey guys, we're back on Fallout today, and today I'm actually starting my video from someone else's perspective. I'm about to show you a video on how my friends and I fell in a trap, and this guy is actually awesome enough to show us all the details about his trap afterwards. But here you see me falling in, and horrible things are about to befall me, but I will show you more here.
Oh no!
So this is from her perspective now. See, he's like, "Hey, come buy stuff, you know, or sell stuff."
Maybe he's got a shop.
Nope, she's trapped.
Oh, I got locked out.
It turns around. Uh-oh.
Locked in.
Now watch.
What the? Wait. What is happening? Oh my god! What the fuck is
It's a good trap.
Let me out! I can't lock the door. I'll be walking.
Like,
yeah, so if you destroy somebody's camp, if you destroy anything, then you become wanted and they can kill you and collect a reward.
I'm gonna die in here.
So what he's trying to do is invite her into his house to kill her, to take her junk. And then he gets to keep her equipment.
This is me giving up, by the way. I'm deciding I'm just going to take off my armor and let it go because I'm naked. Let me go. There we go.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's so cool.
You're like switching through the door.
That's brutal.
Oh, my God. You want to go see what that guy has for sale? Because
yeah, and then once it loads, this guy explains how he does this.
Oh, no.
No! Oh, my friend. I hadn't seen her in months, and she picked that one day to come visit me. She walks right in there, and I'm like, "No, get out of there!"
Yeah. So as she's messing around, somebody joins the server, and they show up, and they're gonna kill them now too. But what I thought was interesting is how you actually.
So you've got a welcome sign at the front. It's so inviting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he gets you. But okay, so he's going to show you how he built the place. Got another bug there. There we go.
There it is.
So that's what he's got behind the walls there in this location. So when you walk through the doors, you can't even see it.
Man.
But he's got rows of flamethrowers and whatnot.
What year is this game? Remind me.
It's Fallout 76.
What year though was this made?
2 years ago or a year?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was 2019, I think, or something like that.
Oh, okay. It kind of gave me a Rust feel, if any of you guys have played that before.
A lot of people say that.
Yes,
okay.
It's supposed to be a survival game, but it quickly becomes something else. But it's supposed to be a survival game, though. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. She was wandering around and got invited to trade
awesome.
and ended up getting killed on stream.
Dude, that sounds like some Saw. What's that movie, The Saw?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, he would do that to me.
Oh, Sparkles. Oh man. But yeah, I thought that was fantastic when I seen that. But so Lukey, what are you doing with music lately, man? Are you actually working on a project, or you just tinker?
No, I'm just sort of tinkering around really. I do record stuff just on guitar at the moment. I like play bass guitar, but I was a vocalist for a couple of bands, so I do write stuff, but I'm not really putting it out there at the minute. So nothing.
Right.
Once I'm gonna, you'll see. But
Right on. Well, I've seen some of your equipment when you turn the camera around and stuff. So I was wondering when we would hear something from you. You know.
I'll make sure you hear it first with him, though.
Oh man. So what do you guys have planned for your channels going forward? How about you, Miss Tracey?
Oh, my plans kind of got all jumbled up recently. I was originally trying to go for the Fallout stream team, but then I'd have to stream 50% Fallout, and I really like to do a variety of games. But I still love the Fallout community so much. Like we did Fallout for Hope. I don't know if you guys heard about that. It was a big fundraiser originally for St. Jude.
Real quick, let me explain to the viewers that are here watching right now. Fallout 76, when it first got released, had a whole bunch of hate, just like Stadia, and it only ramped up, and eventually it kind of died down. But so the Fallout community banded together, the ones who saw potential in the game, just like the people who saw potential in Stadia banded together. So it's very similar. But go ahead, Ms. Tracey.
So like I keep saying, the community is amazing. They did this whole big event, and it was Fallout for Hope, and we raised over $100,000.
Oh wow!
Last year for Christmas.
Wow, awesome!
Nice. I could goosebumps talking about it. It was
so
cool. And
nice.
we did like little ones here and there. Like they're about to do one for the American Heart Association, and I actually didn't sign up for this one because I'm still recovering from surgery and I didn't want to get involved in a whole big project right now. But I know for sure we're going to be doing the Fallout for Hope again for Christmas, and I'm super excited.
Wow!
Wow!
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that great work, man. That helped a lot of people.
They sent out some goodies. That's why I have a little mustache and googly eyes.
Oh! That is awesome swag, man.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Wow.
And show the audience your shirt too. I thought that was pretty boss.
Oh yeah, my Control Freak shirt.
Yeah, Control Freak and Lukey.
That's so cool.
Shirt. I don't think they could see your Sonic.
So we got Sega versus Nintendo here, and then look who came into the picture afterwards.
That is a great segue. Oh man.
Hey, Sierra Rose asked a question. If you go up, she had a question for us.
Game will you? Okay, question for everyone. Game you will never play again, whether it was just too boring, hard, etc., or because you finished it too quick and were just disappointed. Well, I wasn't disappointed, and I'm going to be playing it again. But I just finished Resident Evil 8. I thought it was really cool, yeah. So all right, Jeff. Game you will never play again, whether it was just too boring, hard, or etc.
No offense to my British friends. Anything that involves soccer.
Soccer?
No, that's good.
Jesus Christ, Jeff.
I'm the same, Jeff.
Oh, really? No soccer.
I think me and Lukey need to renew our British kind of citizenship.
Yeah.
Because we don't do football. I don't know about Lukey, but I'm not one of those typical lads that go to the pub. I don't know what else is British that we don't do.
I don't know. We should be doing this. We're going to get kicked out. Let's go to Canada.
We knocking at the door.
You're part of the Commonwealth. You're part of the Commonwealth. We'll let you in. It's fine.
That's
part of the Commonwealth, so you guys are allowed in.
You'll be drinking milk from a bag in no time.
Exactly.
Australia, New Zealand.
No, I did. The last FIFA game I played was FIFA 94 on the Mega Drive.
Oh, back when
I didn't bother after that. I thought it was quite cool, but yeah, I don't follow football, so it's not really my thing.
I can jump on the bandwagon with you guys. No, thank you.
Yeah. The last Madden game that was released for Google Stadia. I will not play Madden. I almost had a stroke screaming at my screen playing Stadia Vet. I'm playing Stadia Vet, and my quarterback would hike the ball, run back, and he wouldn't throw the ball. He would just he'd half pump it. He'd just half pump it. My wife thought I was insane. I'm like, throw that fucking ball. She's like, what? Are you fighting? I'm like, no.
All right, I got a game for you guys. And I remember spending money and coming home, and I just I couldn't understand the game, and I hated it. And it was Friday the 13th back in 1989 NES.
You didn't like that?
Hell no, I didn't like it. I did not. It was stupid. It didn't make any sense. And also, E.T. Atari. Hell no. Horrible game. E.T. Atari.
Yeah, E.T. was a horrible game. I have to disagree with you on Friday the 13th for Nintendo, though. I kind of, it's one of those games I gained a respect for later after I learned actually how to play it. Like, there was a lot of elements I didn't understand.
See, and that's the thing that I thought I'd just, when you think Friday the 13th, as a young kid, you're thinking horror and all, it was, but I didn't read the instructions, so that's probably my.
Well, I'd say I think 90% of kids opened the box and threw it behind them. I don't think they ever looked at it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Shaq Fu.
Yeah, that was a turd. Shaq Fu was a turd. It was a fighting game based on Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah,
it's terrible. I did not know about this.
Yeah, I think it was a year or two after his rap career, after Shaquille O'Neal's rap career.
I tried to forget about that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
How can you go wrong with Shaq? Come on.
You can add kung fu to it, and there you go. I guess is your answer. Shaq.
Oh my God, Aquaman! I agree with you, Mr. Urban. Well, that was horrible.
I don't think I ever played Aquaman. What system was that on?
Yeah, but does anybody like Aquaman? Seriously,
I like Aquaman. Like
now,
the newer Aquaman.
Yeah, the Super Friend Aquaman, not so much.
He's like the Jar Jar of the DC world, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, let's talk about.
Yes. The only guy clipped Aquaman being terrible too.
Poor guy.
I love Family Guy. But one of the This Week in Retro was it discussed the Phantom Menace being released on PC or Windows, I think.
Yeah.
Where were you and what were you doing when Phantom Menace was in the theater, and did you go? Starting with you, Jeff.
I was in the theater. They always have so the movies are usually released on a Friday, and on the Thursday they have a preview night. So if you go back through all of my Twitter feed from 2008, I'm always there on the preview night. So all the Star Wars movies, Marvel movies, depending, if there is sometimes there isn't a Thursday night premiere, but for all the big ones, so Thursday night. And you know what? I didn't hate it. I had no issue with it. I was entertained for 3 hours. And that's fine. That's everybody hates on the Phantom Menace, but you know what? I had no issue with it. I played the video game. I had no issue with it. But I was in the theater.
Right on. How about you, Blake?
So yeah, similar. It's kind of what Jeff was saying there about like everyone being really disappointed because there's been such a long gap from 4, 5, and 6, and then 7 coming out. There was this huge hype, and it became like the holy grail of like it must be like this, and you got
like Cyberpunk. Kind of.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wasn't going to throw that in, but yes, you're totally right. But because first of all, you got two audiences you're dealing with there. You got the next generation of people who are younger, and then you got the traditional golden oldies who stuck by exactly how it was and all that stuff. So you're not going to please both. But for me, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love Star Wars, but I was such a young age. I mean, I think I was 1999, was it? Yes. I was 10. I was 10 years old, just to make people feel old. So I didn't have. No, don't believe that. Yes. No, but because I didn't have that baggage of like this is so holy, it must be exactly the same or whatever. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's only when I matured.
You weren't rigid. You weren't rigid with the lore and all that. And you went for entertainment.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it helped me build the storyline for me because it was picking the pieces. Because I'll never forget watching 4, 5, and 6. And it was my older brother who said to me, "You know when the movie starts and you see those lines there? What?" And he taught me about like Viking numbers. And then he said, "You do know that means episode 4." I said, "No, this is the first one." He said, "You do know they're going to make 3 that happens before." That concept blew my mind as a kid. I was like, "Whoa! So we're going to go into the future and we're going to go back in time with Star Wars." I literally just started foaming at the mouth. It was insane.
How about you, Lukey?
Well, I do remember. So I watched the film. It hadn't come out in the UK, and I somehow got a VHS with it on there. It weren't very good quality from an uncle that got a copy of it. So I watched it really. Yeah, I remember that because I was watching it like, why am I watching a film? There's people standing up like
Chinese
shadows.
subtitles.
I couldn't work out, and it was all there was Chinese subtitles. Yeah, so I didn't actually watch it. I watched it when it came out on the video, but I remember it blowing up. It was such a big thing, wasn't it? You know, all like the Pepsi Max cans, all Star Wars, everything was Star Wars Episode 1. I think, I remember obviously this whole soundtrack thing that I'm sure everyone's seen Episode 1, but it gave away that Qui-Gon Jinn had died, didn't it? Because the track listing said Qui-Gon's death.
Yep.
Yep.
So, Blake, you've not seen it. but I weren't disappointed. All I just loved the pod racing. I wanted a pod racer. That's what I wanted. I was determined to make one out of a lawnmower and some like other bits. I was going to get 2 lawnmowers, a garden chair, and I was going down the street. But my mum told me off and said you can't really do that. So
you're in half a go-kart.
Is that why you become a
pod racing?
That's it. Yeah, that's why I'm an electrician. I was going. Yeah, that's right. I was going to have a pod racer. I do. Yeah.
How about you, Miss Tracey?
Oh goodness. So I was 11.
By 1 year, okay.
1 year.
Wow.
I was 11 and
Gotta feel
I
old.
absolutely loved it. I saw it in theaters. I was a total dork and we would play. I mean, I was like middle school. We would still act out and play and like be Star Wars characters, and we had our sticks that I painted.
Oh, come on.
Mark off a stick and I painted it. And of course it was blue. And because of course I had a big crush on Ewan McGregor, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Oh, nice. I begged my mum for one of those. I was like, you must buy this from Toys R Us for me now.
So how about you, Ray?
Good. Man, you guys over here talking about Jar Jar Binks. Come on, man. Darth Maul, people.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That was a badass. That was probably one of the badass looking characters I've ever seen, man.
Yeah, Ray Park.
He's going to be making a comeback, right? I mean, you guys saw this recent trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Obi-Wan series and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
Darth Maul's coming back.
I love the movie. And I Jar Jar Binks, I laughed. Every time he opened his mouth, I would laugh. And I thought Darth Maul, man. I wanted the action figure. I'm not gonna tell you how old I was, but I wasn't 11. I wasn't 11, but I definitely I had a roommate and he had Darth Maul and he had the action figures and stuff, man, and toys. And I would go in there and I would look. No, put my Darth Maul down. Put my Darth Maul
It's just
down.
that music.
And Halloween, come on. You know what the greatest costume was? And Jeff was dressed up like Jar Jar Binks.
You come after my horse. You come after my horse again. I'm pulling this out on you.
I'm going to do a Darth Maul.
I met the actor that plays Darth Maul, Ray Park. I met him a couple of years, quite a few years, and it's so funny because obviously people know. I mean, he's done loads of other stuff. He was Toad in X-Men.
Yep.
But there's always fanboys, and they'd somebody had a dual lightsaber, and he just went up to and grabbed it, and then told everyone to get away, and he did the whole scene with the whole lightsaber. Saw it with my own eyes. It was amazing. It's just, it was like, okay, right, that was actually him. It's amazing. So,
Oh my!
Wow.
I was just standing there like. Really good.
That's amazing. I went and when the Phantom Menace came out, I was working on Mackinac City, which is right before you go off the pier and head out to the island, Mackinac Island. And I saw, because I worked there on the strip or whatever, I got to go to the movie theater for free. So I saw the Phantom Menace 10 times in the movie theater, and by the third time I was passing out during the movie. But I enjoyed the movie, but oh my Lord, man, anybody that watched the Phantom Menace in the theater, what did you think of Yoda when you saw him? Because that hurt my feelings so hard.
Yeah,
They fixed it later, but that puppet was so fucking atrocious.
Oh
What hurt me was waiting in line. The line was wrapped around the movie theater and waiting. And I remember I had to go 2 hours before the start.
Yeah, because they didn't
'Cause
have.
you wanted to see.
There was no assigned seating. You
Nope.
couldn't buy your.
Nope.
Like, you guys are all spoiled. No,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna buy my ticket. I got my ticket. You want?
Thank
No,
you.
no, no.
See, they don't know the
No.
struggle
We had
was
to
real.
go hours ahead, and we
The
had to stand
struggle
there.
was real.
Watch both ways.
Yeah.
Yep. Sometimes we had to wait because some of the theaters there was no inside. Well, there was an inside for the theater, but no waiting area, so you had to wait out in the cold in Canada.
Oh,
Back in the
like your
80s,
question,
anyway.
Sierra Rose. I like that question.
Yeah, we're gonna ask it too. If you had to cosplay a video game character, who would it be?
Can I go first? First?
Absolutely. Then Miss Tracey.
I'd be Barrett from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, come on.
And I have my shades on. Yeah.
And your gun arm.
I can see that. I can see. Oh, I was waiting for you to put out the gun arm then.
That's good. How about you, Miss Tracey? If you were to cosplay a character.
I did Mad Moxie from Borderlands.
Oh,
wow.
I did the newer version, the one from the Borderlands 3, because that's the only costume I can get my hands on.
Too bad we don't have that photo.
Sure, we can look it up.
Darn. No.
She said darn.
It was fun, but the makeup was weird. I did weird makeup trying to do the cell shading, and I'm not talented at that. So yeah, it was fun though.
Right on. How about you, Lukey? If you had to, or was going to cosplay, who would it be?
I don't know. Well, I've been cosplaying a Ghostbuster for 10 years now, so I guess they're in games. 10 years. Yeah. So,
off topic, real quick, but have you watched that Ghostbusters documentary about the people who are like very fanatic about the Ghostbusters? It came out right before the new Ghostbusters did with the girls. It was right before that, I think. It came out.
I'm friends with quite a few of the people in the film. I'm actually in the credits actually on that film. So,
oh, really?
I went in, but my name's yeah.
What a shout out!
Big,
oh shit!
I'm big into the. I'm big into Ghostbusters as well.
You can't just drop that and move on.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that documentary.
Who are you gonna call? Lukey said.
I had a Ghostbusters wedding.
How about you, Blake? Who would you cosplay as?
Oh, Joe, so many. But if I was to go back to mine's not going to be as crazy. You may think that, Lukey, but if I go back to what was always my favorite when I was playing on PlayStation, it would be Dante from Devil May Cry.
Ooh, that's a real good one, man.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh, sorry, say again.
Have you done it?
No.
You should do it, Blake.
I've never actually done cosplay.
Blake, he's going to do it.
Blake, you should do it.
That would be a picture I'd want too.
I'd love to.
How about you, Jeff? Say SpongeBob.
I have been dressing up
in the costume because it's square.
I have been dressing up as Spider-Man since before I had children. So it would always be Spider-Man. If I had to, I've got the lightsaber. It would be something on the dark side. Big dark side fan. Be Darth. Would be any Darth whomever. I like the bad people. So Doofenshmirtz,
Slender Man. You make a good Slender Man.
Slender Man.
Well, I'm thinking definitely a Sith because I don't know how spandex would look on you. So definitely a Sith.
Oh man, I get that vision in my eyes.
Then don't go and look at my Twitter feed in around Halloween. Do not do that then. Do not do that then.
Mine would have to be because it's simple. I could do it. Kano from Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah,
that plate. Yeah. That'd be an easy one for me to do.
Could we touch very briefly on that movie because that was like the guy that played Kano was the best part of that movie.
The new one.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. Every scene Kano was in that movie, he stole the scene.
I didn't like what he did to the gnome, man. That was so messed up. What he did to the gnome.
He ended up being a villain, but the actor did
the actor himself
phenomenal job.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah.
William, you got to be Post Malone, dude.
Post Malone for Halloween. Yeah, I've literally just because I hate razors, man. They cost so much, and you're gonna grow it all back anyway. So I just let shit grow, and that's why people are like, "Hey, you look scruffy. Are you you know that guy?" No, I'm not him. I don't know him. Yeah. You don't want to listen to my music, let me tell you. but hey, just to say though, I am not a musician, but My dad, when us kids were growing up, he wanted a bluegrass band so bad that he had my brother Chris learn guitar. My brother Sean learned the fiddle. He got me playing the mandolin, and he played the banjo. So he did
awesome.
He did have a bluegrass band for a little bit.
That would be cool. That'd be cool.
I dare you to
RoboCop.
Hey, RoboCop would be a very hard like cosplay. You got to cover everything. Kano, it's just that side of your face, man. I think
Yeah.
I think so. I disagree with you on that. on the dress up anyway. All right. Well, hey, we are almost out of time here on episode 2 of Retro Rewind. We thank you all for tuning in and participating in the chat. We're going to go around so everybody can say what they're getting up to and where you can find them at. And then I'll close out and we'll head out of here. Go ahead, Miss Tracey. Go ahead and let people know where they can find you, what you're up to, and stuff like that.
I'm on it all. I multi-stream, so I'm on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, and we do Facebook and YouTube, and then I stream those at the same time. Then we do the after hours portion on Twitch, where it's more music, less maturity. That's what I would say. Tracey.com.
Sounds like my kind of stream.
It's just MIZTRACEY.com, and all my links are on there. So I'll be streaming tonight. We'll be doing Red Dead, checking stuff out in the new console. I got a new Xbox.
I will be tuning in and checking that out. And thank you so much for coming on. It was a fabulous time tonight.
I love this. I would love to come back.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, Lukey, go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube. I stream on YouTube Tuesdays and Thursdays, streaming Google Stadia games. So you can find me there, Lukey6. You can be on Twitter. Follow me on there at Lukey6. And come along to my live streams. Join the fun. You're welcome.
Awesome.
All
right, Ray, go ahead. Give yourself a shout out, and then we'll go to Blake and then me. All right.
I'm Ray3473. I'm the gaming cyborg. I work behind the scenes of the Stadia Bash Community Network and now the Entertainment Bash Community Network. I'm streaming tonight, and I'm also streaming Red Dead online with my good friend Kevin from Choose Gaming. We call ourselves the Bounty Boys. Also, guys, I stream Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. Tuesdays I do Amazon Luna. I stream. So thank you. Just find me Ray3473 on Twitter, and I'm always posting when I'm streaming. Thank you.
Take it away, Blake.
Jeff, what time did he say he was streaming on Red Dead?
Yeah, can you stream a little earlier? Because 1 a.m. is just too late for me.
I think when he streams, it's 6 a.m.
If I'm going to come and hunt you down, you got to
guys coming to my stream, you're getting shot. I'm using fire rounds, all right?
What they're trying to say, Ray, is that it's a little late for murder at that time.
Yeah,
for me, it's 6 a.m. in the morning, I think. I see you when I wake up, so...
I wake up in the morning, grab my phone, and Ray's there, like, oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah, just a quick background for the guys there. I never forget that the last time I streamed Snipe Ray, it was him and Kevin, and they were going down this kind of valley on their little canoes.
On a canoe!
They were enjoying it. Yeah, he was like, man, this is peaceful. This is life. It was dark. It was quiet. They're in their little canoes going silently. I'm jumping on. I'm late for work, by the way, but I'm like, I've got to do this. So I get on. And then I shoot you. I killed you, Ray, didn't I? Not Kevin.
No,
and then I left. Me. And then I watched it back on my phone.
He just logged off.
Yeah. He was so unhappy. Destroyed his little romantic evening. Sorry. Cool. My name is Blake. I am part of Blake Stadia. You can catch my streams on YouTube, youtube.com/Blake Stadia. Obviously, I do completely and utterly only Stadia content, but I'll play all sorts of games. At the moment, I have got my amazing streams that I'm proud of purely because of the guys who join me. Every Saturday nights, we do the lad stream. A bunch of British guys. We go all sorts of games, Lukey being one of them, and we attempt to do missions, but they fail continuously. But we foul for your entertainment. But yeah, you can also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Blake Stadia. And yeah, that's me.
All righty, Jeff.
I'm Jeff Janak. As you can see, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. I stream as part of the Stadia Bash Community Network on Monday nights, and I do Stadia games. On Wednesdays, I will do some Stadia. Sometimes I'll do some Madden. Sometimes I will mix it up a little bit. Friday night, I do a retro stream from 6:30 Eastern. So last week we did We did a little Crash Bandicoot. This week, in honor of it coming out on the PlayStation 5, currently out on the PlayStation 4, I'm going to do a little Ratchet and Clank this week on the PlayStation 2. You see I have all 4 of them set up there. No 5 yet. And then depending on how it goes on Saturday, I will play some Stadia. Last night, there's a new game that's coming out on all platforms. It's currently pre-release on Steam. Super Animal Royale. So I was playing that last night. It's going to be out on Xbox June 1st, and then Stadia and PlayStation later this year, but they won't tell you when. They're just saying later this year. So I do a little bit of that. So come follow my channel and let's interact and let's play some games.
Sweet.
Hell yeah, sounds awesome. I'm William, aka Stadia Pro Gaming. On my channel, I stream nothing but Stadia games Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. CST, and Retro Rewind every other Sunday.
Heard good things about that.
Yeah, this next the very next Retro Rewind episode, we're gonna have a great guest. Eddie Player One will be joining us, and we will have more on that the closer we get to it. But thank you guys all for joining us, participating, and hanging out. We appreciate it, and thank you to our guests. You guys were
Thanks
lovely.
for having us.
Is it that?
Absolutely.
Is it that?
And we're gonna go ahead and leave you with the outro, and you guys be good to each other. Have a great day.
Take care, people.
Thanks, guys.